All right, everyone. Once again, you are watching the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase 2025. We are here raising money for CARE. And if you're looking to make a direct contribution to CARE, be sure to type !donate in chat to get the link to our Tiltify page. You can also scan the QR code on screen with your phone for quick and easy access to the link. While you're there, be sure to assign your donation to one of the exciting bid wars we have going on, or one of the exciting incentives, or both. It's a great way to add some extra fun to the marathon, all while supporting a good cause. And as a reminder, right now we are choosing the recipe, which is right now turning into a Bergie loyalty build, as well as trying to meet the Grub Father at the end of Hollow Knight. But those are both coming up later on in the marathon. Right now, we are ready for our next run, which means we are ready to bust out the yo-yos, everybody. It is time for Laurie D. Bunnykins to run any percent, new game plus, no zips of Pipistrello and the cursed yo-yo. Laurie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I appreciate the floor. But I am also going to need the walls and ceilings for this one. My name is Laurie D. Bunnykins. This is Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. If you've never heard of this game, it's the best game that's come out this year, and that will still be true in 2 weeks. But yeah, this is a very GBA-inspired Zelda game, like Zelda-like, that just came out this year, and the run is already really fun to keep track of. So today I'm going to be doing New Game Plus without zipping, which zipping is one of the biggest glitches in the run of this game. It lets you just kind of go everywhere. We're not going to be using that. We're still going to be going everywhere. New Game Plus lets us start with all of our yo-yo abilities, all of our badges, and we can acquire upgrades in any order. And we're going to use some of that pretty instantly to do some pretty funny things. So let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thankfully, the game has a setting that makes it skip cutscenes for me. Thank you. So immediately I'm going to take advantage of that having all the badges thing, and we're going to equip the Cheater's Teleport badge and leave. So the first badge that we use in this run is the Cheater's Teleport badge. It's a badge that's really hard to find in the normal game, but it's absolutely broken. I can use the off-string throw, which is an ability that lets me throw my yo-yo head off of the string. And I can then press right trigger to teleport to wherever the yo-yo is. So I can use that there. I have to enter the cutscene, to enter the mansion, to let the game, like, remove a barrier that would let me leave it otherwise. But then I could just use the teleport to leave, and that skips, like, the entire intro of the game. So we're already just kind of in the main body of the game, where I have to go around to these 4 areas and get these 4 batteries to power a machine to put my grandma's soul back together, or my aunt's, rather. So the first area we pick is the Galaneros district, which is this very, like, sports-heavy district. And immediately I'm going to be taking use of a technique called teleport warping, where with the teleport badge, if I, like, set up the yo-yo in a specific spot and then teleport as I'm transitioning screens, the game will put me kind of... It will use the position that I'm teleporting to as part of, like, where it lands me in the new screen. So I can use that to teleport, like, past puzzles on certain screens, which I've already used once to grab one of the fans, and I'm going to use again here in a few screens. The reason we like to pick this area first is because we can get a lot of money here. To enter the dungeon, we have to make a fan club so that we can sit in the fan club seating of the stadium. And after the first fan you get, all of the fans give you $350. So that's a lot of money there. And then once we actually gain access to the dungeon, I can do some sports betting, you know, the great American pastime. And we bet on ourselves to win the sports game. We're not a team in the sports game, but that has never stopped sports betting from letting you bet on a team that doesn't exist. So we're going to get our money out of that later, but for now we're going to try and make our way through the dungeon, using some more teleport warps to skip keys and alternate paths. Or not alternate paths, but like otherwise required paths, I suppose. But we can just jump right past literally all of them. This dungeon is usually where you would get the wall ride, which you're going to see me use in a few screens here. It's one of the most important abilities in this game because you can just ride on a wall as long as, you know, you can conceivably go on the same wall. It and the walk the dog, which is the like fast moving thing where I'm like trailing behind the yo-yo pretty much, are the two most useful abilities in New Game Plus. But here I'm going to try and do a set of teleport warps. One here, and then one here. And that's going to clip me into this room where I can just start the boss fight of the first dungeon here. I also didn't explain this when I was going through them, but teleport warps are pretty precise, and I literally first tried like all of them, so this is a really strong start.
Yeah, let's go, everyone. This
first boss fight is we're playing football, kind of. It's an American football as the ball, but it plays more like soccer. You know, we just have to get to the ball to the opposing net, and we need to score 3 points to win. Since I have the teleport badge equipped, my strategy is mostly to just throw my yo-yo, grab the football with the string, and then teleport. And that's really useful, not just because, you know, it helps us dodge the other players if we can. But you might notice these like barriers around the stadium. These are barriers that exist all over the game that usually stop you from carrying items through them. But your yo-yo without any items can go through them just fine. So we just like don't have to deal with dodging around the barriers to get the ball to the goal. We can just kind of keep throwing the yo-yo and teleporting to it. And if we're holding the ball when we teleport, it stays with us. And that allows us to get the first mega battery really quickly. I'm then going to unequip the teleport badge and equip another cheater badge, which means it's really hard to get to, but in New Game Plus we start with it. And it's the train badge. And with the train badge, we just move really fast. It just makes everything we do faster. You can probably tell if you remember how fast I've been going with Walk the Dog that I'm just going so much faster. So it's really useful for parts of the run where we don't need to use teleporting to break something. Speaking of, we, in that moment, when we got the first Mega Battery, also got introduced to our cousin Pepita. Pepita and Pippo, who I just talked to there, are the major upgrade systems in this game. They each have a different way of upgrading things. The first one I took was an attack upgrade from Pepita, where instead of just buying upgrades from her, she puts you in debt with a debuff until you can, like, pay the upgrade off, pretty much. And so we use some of the gambling money to pay off that upgrade in entirety, because usually when you're in debt, it's like a 50-50 split where money goes either to you or to the debt. But we win $2,000 from the gambling there, so we pay off the debt with $500 and get the rest of the $1,500. That's going to lead to, in a moment, I'm going to drop this key off in my safe house, and I'm also going to talk to Hippo. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That might be bad. Okay. It's not great, but it's fine. So I'm going to pay this debt off, and I'm going to put myself in a new one. And then I'm going to talk to Pippo, and I'm going to upgrade the train badge so that it costs less. I'm also going to switch the teleport badge back on and try and do a wall clip here, where I teleport right as my yo-yo hits the wall, and then use the wall ride to get pushed between that NPC and the wall, and it clips me through, and that just skips a few things. So I'm gonna put train back on because it's really good. Unfortunately, since I died, I lost a little bit of money, so I don't have exactly everything I want out of my money right now, but I should be able to fix that up here. No, there's no money up here. But I'll just keep progressing for now. So yeah, this area, we need to get this ID card to get into the second dungeon of the game, so I'm going to just quickly grab this key, store it in my safe house as well, and leave. We pretty much skipped the whole thing by doing that jump around the blue barrier, so I'm not too worried about it. from here, we're going to make our way to the dungeon. I'm going to go down here before using walk the dog because this game does obey normal traffic rules, and I don't want to run into a car because that's just slow. As you'd guess.
As one would assume.
Yeah. So, as we get into the second dungeon here, I'm immediately going to use wall riding to skip like half of it. I'm going to wall ride around this corner to get onto this walkway. And then once I get to the end of this room, I'm going to cling onto this wall and ride over here. And that kind of uses this dungeon structure where it's kind of open on the outside to skip half of the dungeon, but I still have to do the other half. I also collected enough money. Unfortunately, since I died, I lost too much money and wasn't able to do all the upgrading I wanted to at once. What's supposed to happen, I should actually grab backup money too, just to be safe. I'll do it right here. But what's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to upgrade both the train badge and the demon badge, which is a badge that makes it so... it's a badge that caps your max HP at 2, but it doubles the amount of damage you deal. And I upgrade those 2 badges so that they combined cost a total of 7 badge points, and then take an upgrade from Pepita that lowers my attack by 1, but gives me 2 extra badge points. And since we start with 5, that will allow me to wear the train badge and the demon badge at the same time. And that's really nice, just so I don't have to, go to a safe house and change my badge layout every time I want to do a boss fight. Speaking of boss fights, we have our first one right here. This is our first normal one, I guess. This is the Slime Tycoon, and he is sometimes annoying. He has a few attacks he can do at the start of a cycle. He can either, jump or, call enemies or throw bombs. And if he doesn't jump, you have enough damage with the Demon Badge and your Flurry attack to just kind of get him to the next phase in place. And the boss fight is over without us really needing to do that much.
Wow.
Yeah, we kind of shred that guy. But this game, I like this game a lot because it flows really well. There's never anything really too intense happening, but there's also not a lot of downtime. So after we do that, we're right back on the move. We're going to make our way out of the slime excavation site and into the third area of the game. I'm going to take this time to explain what I'm doing with these keys, because I haven't really gone into that. I mentioned I'm grabbing them, but haven't explained why. This game was designed in a way where the developers are cool and awesome. And a system they talked about before launch, actually, was how these keys are not tethered to location at all. If you get a key to a key door, you can use it regardless of where you got the key from and what door you're trying to use it on. So in this area, I take the opportunity to grab a lot of keys from these side rooms and dungeons and then not use them so that I can just save them for later. And that's going to come to a head right here in the third area, where I'm going to, thanks to New Game Plus, have the immediate ability to just walk the dog over this water and head into the third dungeon of the game, Plaza Rockfort Mall. This area usually requires that we go to 4 wings of the mall and pick up a key from each so that we can make it to the back half of the dungeon. However, because of the 3 keys I was already holding, and one of the keys in this area taking 5 seconds to get, because it's another instance where you're not supposed to have walk the dog yet, but we do, we can pretty much not do this dungeon at all. So I'm going to put the 3rd key in there, and then, like I said, just grab the 4th key. This is usually where you're supposed to come out of the area where you get walk the dog, but if we come in with it, we just go there, and then hit switch number 3, 4, and we're in the back half of the dungeon. Where we're immediately going to skip another half of this half of the dungeon. So now that we're here, this has less of a gimmick to it. It's just more of a straight shot to the boss fight. But I'm going to put on my teleport badge, which you already know means something's going to happen. I'm going to line up with a certain part of the floor here and then throw my yo-yo with the off string, and it's going to clip through that barrier, which will allow me to just skip half the dungeon, the path to opening that barrier. I also use the teleport throw in that room because there's a trigger that starts an enemy arena that has like multiple waves, so it takes a while. But we can just teleport past the trigger to spawn it, so we don't have to worry about it, and we can just make our way to the back of the dungeon. This is going to take about another minute or so, where there's not too much going on. So if you have any announcements you want to make, BB, this is a perfect time.
Yeah, we are $61 away from $3,500 for care. That is absolutely snipeable during this run, and it will put us that much closer to meeting the Grubfather at the end of the Hollow Knight run. We are $135 towards that $500 incentive. So exclamation mark donate in chat. Help us reach that milestone number and help us reach that Grubfather number. And if you'd like, you can also put money to telling us how much you love Bergie. You love Bergie, right, Laurie?
I love Bergie. We're pretty close to the boss fight here. I just need to make it to the end of this, like, chase section. And, yeah, we're pretty much right there. So this is one of the more annoying fights in the run, potentially. This is Don Moretti, and he likes to walk around and shoot guns. So the goal here is to try and chase him down and use the flurry on him, but the problem is sometimes when we chase him, he will do that jump away from us. So we want to try and like track him down, but sometimes he'll just jump away a lot while chasing us. Usually the strategy is to try and let him shoot, because once he starts shooting, he's going to do a full cycle. But with this third gun, it lasts a while, so I'm just going to damage tank it to do like most of his health. And then I only need to find him one more time, but as you can see, he's running into me and jumping. And then like there, he shoots all his bullets really fast, so it's hard to fully track him down. But it's a not bad fight at all. That was a little bit unlucky, but I would say I still played it really well. But also the most annoying boss in this game is upcoming really soon, so... Yeah, my minor complaints about him sometimes jumping around, they're about to get pretty amplified, is all I'll say. But first we have to make our way out of the dungeon, because the safe house it puts us at is obviously right in front of the boss. We just have to go up some elevators. Yeah, if you have like a quick like 20 to 30 second announcement, go for it.
Yeah, if you want to know what other showcases are coming up, both tonight and tomorrow during LASS 2025, type !schedule into the chat to get a link to the full schedule for the weekend, and it will be in your own time zone. And once again, everyone, we are so close to that $3,500 mark. Help us get there, yo. We can do it during this run.
Absolutely. It's got to be fast, though, because this is another dungeon where we're going to skip the whole thing. So first off, I'm going to use teleport to skip the cutscene that would usually stop us from entering this convention without the like entrance pass. And then I'm going to use teleport to teleport through this NPC who is blocking access to the boss arena. This stage is the boss arena, however, I'm teleporting around it, being careful not to activate the boss fight, so that I can go to the safe house behind it and re-equip my demon badge and train badge, because I want my damage. But once I do that, it is time for Lincoln, a cosplayer of the famous hero, Lincoln, from The Legend of Something. He's being annoying instantly. So Lincoln is my least favorite boss in the run by a long shot. He jumps around during, like, literally everything. He has several attacks that move him around the field constantly. And starting in Phase 2, Toxie comes out to play. And when she, like, gets in position, she acts as a barrier where I have to go over to her and knock her out before I can actually deal damage to Lincoln again. Lincoln also has this attack, which if you hit him while he's, like, preparing the sword, like, swipe attack, he actually knocks your yo-yo off the string, which is a thing some enemies and bosses can do. I just happen to be there. And when that happens, your string, it has like decent stun ability, but it deals no damage. So if you want to deal damage, you need to get it back on the string. So that fight can be really rough. That was a little rough, I'd say. Like, that was far from a perfect fight, but getting it done okay in an event is like, that's all I can ask for, you know? That fight is... you can lose track of him really easily. But that's the 4th Mega Battery. That's, like, the last dungeon of, like, the main part of the game. We do still have the final dungeon, but we're already heading to the final dungeon. really quickly. So, yeah, this run goes by fast. This game takes a while, casually. Like, doing everything in the areas to get through the dungeons normally takes, like... It takes, like, 10 hours, usually, to get to the final dungeon, but we're there in 18 minutes. Since I left the intro through the top early, I can just, like, walk through all the parts that we would normally have to get through to get here. And we're back in Pipistrello Manor. So the manor's going to be crumbling. It's kind of in a decrepit state because we've left it alone for so long, aka 18 minutes. So we have to be careful here. I'm going to use a lot of wall riding to get through a bunch of these large pits. And we're going to have, like, what actually ends up being, thanks to all the skips I do, one of the only genuine enemy arenas in this run. I'm going to hit this switch, it's going to make it dark, and then we have 2 waves of enemies here. This one I'm going to try and damage boost so I can hit both of them with a flurry attack at the same time. And then this one, if I stand far enough to the right, this shield guy doesn't notice me until after I already killed the enemy that it's intended to shield. So that brings us into the new part of the final dungeon. Usually in the intro, you would play up into that room right there where something would happen. But now we have like a new section of the dungeon where we have to try and make our way into the secret lab because we have the 4 mega batteries. We can put our aunt's like soul back into her body. But we need to get there first. So
I'm sorry, what?
So the story at the start of this is that the mega batteries actually contain a fraction of your aunt's soul, because 4 like company owners were mad that our aunt is making them pay so much money for energy. So they put her soul into the batteries, and then the batteries that contain part of her soul, they generate a lot of energy for the city that they run.
Okay, yeah, this is a 2025 game.
Yeah. Oh, I did this wrong. It's okay. What I was going to try and do there was I was going to like grab the coins on the top platform with my yo-yo, and then if I did that, I would have never landed on a respawn point in that room, so when I fell in the pit, I would have got sent back to the beginning of it. If you are in the middle of collecting some of those green coins and you take damage, you are asked to restart the room, but once you collect them, they don't uncollect. Like, once you do the whole puzzle, you're good. So here, we have the laser, which allows us to destroy these mud blocks, and as you can see right in front of the elevator there's a mud block that we need to destroy. So usually we would need to go around this whole dungeon with the laser, grab 2 keys and a battery, but I can actually cheese a key by getting an explosion against the wall there that hits a block that's not supposed to. And then, with just this 1 key, usually with the laser, it tries to throw on a grid to prevent stuff like this from happening. But if we position ourselves just right, we can kind of get it stuck between 2 tiles on the grid, and it will melt the mud block, and we can gain access to the final area of the game. So this is the lab. We're going to accidentally trigger the self-destruct sequence, and now we have 6 minutes before the lab self-destructs. This will take like a minute and a half to do, so I'm not really worried about the time limit, but the final boss in this game is pretty intense, so this is your last chance to like read any announcements before we fight the final boss.
Yeah, just a quick note, we are still only we're so close to $3,500, and to let everyone know just exactly what all of this is going for. CARE works around the globe to save lives and defeat poverty. CARE puts women and girls at the center of their work because they know that we cannot overcome poverty until all people have equal rights and opportunities. 96% of CARE staff live in the countries or regions where CARE works. That means they can respond immediately to emergencies and stay long after the TV cameras leave. You are there when you give to CARE. To learn more, you can visit www.care.org, and all of the money we're raising is going towards this amazing cause, and we're so close to $3,500 raised.
Such a great cause, and yeah. We still have a little bit more if you have anything.
Yeah, so you said this was your favorite game of 2025, and I just wanted to run it by you. Why is this your favorite game of 2025?
It's just so good. The run and the game itself When I mentioned earlier that this run has a really good flow, where it's never too intense, but there's also never any really downtime, the whole game even casually fits that structure, and it's so fun to just kind of go room to room and experience everything. It feels like there's nothing stopping you from having just the best time possible. I think the only thing that could possibly stop you in this game is beating it, and that's what we're about to do. We're about to start the final boss. So this comes in 2 phases. This one doesn't have a lot of health, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to it and just use the flurry attack. The batteries will always say a certain space around the boss here, so I can sandwich myself between her and the batteries, and that takes out phase 1. And we're now going to go into the soul dimension. So yeah, this is the cousins that we've been working with actually hijacked the mega batteries to reprogram our aunt's soul to only remember how much it hates us. So now we gotta fight it. And this is a really tough boss fight. As you can probably tell just by the 1 volley of attacks I did, it has a lot more health than phase 1. And also between dealing damage, we have to do these platforming challenges here, which are all really tricky, and I'm doing this on 2 HP. This was definitely a roadblock when this game was new, and I was trying to like route the run and learn it as well. But I put so much practice into this that hopefully I shouldn't have too much of a problem. But I don't want to, you know, jinx myself. These platform challenges are also tricky because the cheater badges, like the train and the teleport badge, have a note on them that they can break the game, so be careful. And yeah, the train badge definitely, the extra speed can make you slippery. You are not intended to do a lot of these challenges with this much speed, so if you don't control yourself well, you can very easily like slip off. But with us getting done with that like mega battery shield phase, we have hit the first of 2 checkpoints in this fight. So that's nice. Oh, I got a little out of control there. It's fine. With this phase, she starts introducing some notable attacks where I have to kind of be careful with how I hit her. So I have to like use the throw there. And she's going to try and do this explosion attack, but I'm going to do enough damage to cut her off, just like that. And coming up, we're going to have a second one of those mega battery shield phases, and then that's going to be the last like platforming challenge. It's just going to be the normal fight until the boss ends. Once the health bar hits just below 0, we're going to have like a thing where she's not attacking us, but we have to knock out the mega batteries like a shield, and then time will be when I hit her after that. So get ready on that, because if I don't die here, it'll be in like a minute. This phase, she likes to do a lot of these swings, so I can stay close to her if I'm careful. You actually have really good invincibility in this game when you are jumping. So I'm taking advantage of that a lot here. To try and, like, you know, not die. I'm gonna be safe. Never mind. Okay, I tried to be safe by... usually you can use the lava on the sides of the arena to go around the arena, and there's usually health during this phase. But instead of activating the walk the dog in time, I just kind of accidentally fell out of the arena and died for it. Yeah, I'm not being really careful here. It's good. Yeah, at this point I'm just trying to focus.
You got this, Laurie.
There we go. Yeah, so time will be when I do these battery throws and deal the final hit to her. And time.
GG.
Yeah, that was a pretty good run. How do I put this in the best way possible? If I didn't die to the final boss, that was rolling.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good way of putting it.
Yeah, I was like, even with like the 2 deaths in that final phase, I was only like 12 seconds off. So that's a good run. I would qualify that as a good run.
That, I would say, qualifies as a good run, yes.
But I I mean, yeah, no, I haven't played this game in a little bit, but 25, like getting a 25 something is like the big goal with this category right now, and that run very well could have been it. But sometimes it's just not meant to be. Game's still really fun. Again, my favorite game of the year so far because it's just like such a vibe. It never really is boring, but it's never really so intense that it's like stressful. It's just a really good, just like sit down, have fun. So if you want to get this game, please do. I can't recommend it enough. I want to shout out just the speedrun community for this game. There's a few too many people that I can remember for me to like, remember all the names individually, but it's a bunch of really dedicated people that have found so much tech for this game in such a short amount of time. So shout outs to all of them. And I don't have much else. I went pretty underestimate because my estimate is very generous accounting for like deaths and stuff. So I guess you get some schedule time save. But no, seriously, thank you all so much for watching this run. It means a lot that people care about this like little indie game that I love a lot. And if you want to see more of me, I'm running Hylix 2 tomorrow, actually. So make sure you check that out as well. But next up is Stardew Valley.
Schedule in chat if you want to see when that run is happening in your time zone. But in case they can't tune in tomorrow, where can they find you if they want to come back and find you later?
You can find me on Blue Sky at LaurieDBunnykins.fastestfirst.com. You can also find me on Twitch at LaurieDBunnykins, but saying you'll find me on Twitch, or saying that you can find me on Twitch is like misleading. You probably won't find me there. I don't stream often, but sometimes I do. I kind of want to more, but I feel like everyone says that on a marathon. You can probably find me there. But yeah, that is, again, all I have. The credits are over, so if you wanted to watch the credits, we did. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I can't wait for Hylix 2 tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your event.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Lady Arcader Super Showcase 2025. I hope you're ready, because we are getting ready to start some cooking IRL here in just a little bit. But before we do, there is one order of business that we would like to take care of before we start getting ready for dinner. And that is to talk to our friend Sanjan, because it looks like there's been a lot of progress made on our Bergie friend here. Sanjan, how's it going?
Hello. Yeah, we've made a huge amount of progress. I would like to say that the main pretty much body is right here. Bergie. Gumpla, say hi.
Everyone say hi to Bergie Gumpla.
I'm doing my best to wave. It takes a little bit to pose these, but yeah, so in that time we pretty much, I was working on the feet. I got a bit of it done, but now we have the full legs working. There was a little bit of progress to get this working because it's just like hard to clip. There is still more of this, just mainly because as you see here, I'm working on its wings. It has really pretty wings. But also, most importantly, it's a little, a chain, tail sword thingy. So, I believe this is pretty much hit around the 6-hour mark, but not to worry. You'll also be seeing a picture of the finished product on social media. But yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you're here with Bergie forever.
Bergie is here forever.
There you go, I pointed it out there. Just pretend they're pointing.
Just pretend. We had a question in chat earlier. How hard?
So like, I worked on it actually before. This is the second one I built. It wasn't too bad, it's just time costly. Because like, there's like the way they make it is just like, they have these little kind of like joints that all join together, which makes it like not too bad. But there's like 15 of them that you have to do. So it's more time consuming than like difficult, I would say. I would say like if I were doing this from the past, like in my past, it would have been more difficult, but I think right now I pretty much kind of like just have it down.
Yeah. How many Gunpla do you think you've built over the course of your life?
I've built like a good 15, 20 of them. If I didn't have limited amount of space, they would fill my entire cabinet. They have, so that's why I haven't bought as much. But I've built multiple different ones. I built what you call two of the perfect grades, which they're 160 scale, so they're the entire length of the camera that you see on the standard 1080p, and then a little more, and times 1.5. So they're huge.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sanjan, for giving us the Sanjan cam we all hoped for so long. We're looking forward to seeing the picture of Bergie in the Discord, !Discord in the chat if you want a link to the Lady Arcaders Discord. In the meantime, Sanjan, where can people find you if they want to see more of your work?
So you can find me doing Mass Effect 2 tomorrow on Lady Arcaders. So I'll be there in Finale Day at around 5:30 p.m. Eastern / 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. Pacific. But elsewhere, you can find me on the good old twitch.tv /Samjan_. I haven't streamed this much because I'm a very busy person lately, but I do cool RPG speedruns of many kinds. But I think my plans are to, after this, learn Mass Effect 3 and then get a better Chrono Cross time. So stay tuned. Also, you can follow me on Blue Sky at sanjan.info. But yeah, I'm glad to have gotten this far, because typically this takes me a long time. And I was
you were willing to do it with oven mitts, so that speaks a lot to your skill.
Yeah, oven mitts would have been a very interesting experience.
Yeah, well, just the threat of it helped us raise a whole bunch of money for care. So thank you so much, everyone. Please give it up for Sanjan. Give it up for Bergie. Give it up for Bergie Gunpla. And stick around in Discord to see the final product. Thank you, Sanjan. All right, everyone. I would like to point your attention to something new that has just come across my desk. We have a new bid war open, everybody. That's right, we have a new bid war open for Dicey Dungeons. So, coming up, we have the Dicey Dungeons run, but we still need to figure out who the actual character is going to be for that run. We can do the warrior, we can do the witch, and we can do the thief. Whichever one it is up to you. !Donate in chat. You can put your donation towards picking the character for the upcoming Dicey Dungeons run a bit later on in the showcase. You can also put that towards the Grubfather incentive, which we are at $135 towards that $500 incentive to meet the Grubfather at the end of our Hollow Knight run. And it is an all grubs run of Hollow Knight, which means if we want to meet the Grubfather, we'll have collected all the grubs beforehand. Which, if you're a Hollow Knight fan, that's a time for celebration, right? That's something to be happy about. We want to see that. And we will see it if we were able to raise $500, and we're almost, not quite a quarter of the way there, but we're well over 20% of the way there. So I totally believe in us. And you know what else I believe in? I believe in dinner. I believe in 3 square meals a day, and I believe in cooking. I believe in cooking IRL, and cooking IRL is coming up next. But I'm kind of hungry. Y'all, I've been here a while. So I think I'm going to go get ready for dinner too. Y'all stick around though, because we've got cooking IRL coming up next. And you are going to be in the very, very capable hands of Char Bunny. This is it for me for hosting for this event. Thank you all so incredibly much for helping raise almost $3,500 for care so far. We're not even close to done, y'all. I believe let's keep pushing this even higher, even farther. Thank you all. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more Lady Arcader Super Showcase coming up in just a little bit.